The Smart Hotel Summit unites hoteliers in Hong Kong to strategize, network, and drive the smart hotel movement. On this note, I would like to invite Richard Hatter, General Manager of Hotel Icon, to deliver his opening remarks. Please.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming today. It's great to see a full room. And I'm delighted to host another forum. One of our roles as a teaching research hotel is to share knowledge and share research. I basically perform two roles. One is that I am the general manager of the hotel, and I also teach. I'm an adjunct associate professor in the school. So I teach operations management, and we actually have 3 prototype rooms here, which we call rooms of the future, and we are able to use different types of technology to research. So we are really a living, breathing kind of entity, and that's why we organize these events. We don't do it to make money, and it's really about connecting people. So we act as a conduit and try to connect people together. So before I just talk a little bit about what today is about, I'd like to first of all thank our sponsors, our supporting partners. First of all, the Hong Kong Hotel Association, the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation, who have over 700 different entities working on technology projects, I understand from Ada this morning. So big thank you to our supporting partners. And also a big thanks to Michelle Lai, who's our Marketing Communications Director and also in charge of partnerships. We'll be doing a lot more partnerships and collaborations. So she's put a lot of time into this and has been networking with many of you individually. So hopefully you get a chance to meet her. We'd like to thank the Wi-Fi sponsor, Lycons, and also just a little bit to explain that being a teaching research hotel, we try to facilitate these partnerships and collaborations with industry, but in many different spheres of industry. Today's Smart Hotel Summit is part of our, what we call a thought leadership conversation series. So we try to get people to engage. It's not just standing here or presenting PowerPoint presentations. It's about communicating and dialogue with one another. So we, in fact, one of my KPIs to the board is to present 4 forums a year, okay? And they range from travel to destination distribution to sort of anything to do with vision and design. Revenue management, we've had several in the last 5 years. We've also done forums around concierge, housekeeping, advances in those areas, and in distribution. So 2 weeks ago, we actually held in this same room a very, very successful conference on smart mobility. So we were looking at Hong Kong's blueprint for becoming a smart city. And that was very interesting indeed. We had experts. We flew in from Sweden, from Norway, and from Amsterdam. And these people shared how they did it in their cities. And these are very high-powered people who had been in government. We also had specialists from Hong Kong, from LegCo, from academia, from corporations, from non-profit, people like Charged Hong Kong, and from government. And that was very, very successful. We had over 300 people, and that's the second time we've done that. So we will be doing another one. So if any of you have anything to do with sort of smart mobility, then you might want to join the next one. In a month's time, on July 3rd, we will be doing, for the very first time, an organization of a workshop for cyber security. As you know, several companies, including people like Marriott and Cathay Pacific, were hacked and had a lot of data compromised. And sometimes it takes a long time to even discover that this is happening. So we are doing a cybersecurity risk management for the hotel industry, specifically looking at that. And also looking to see what do you do if you've discovered that you have been compromised. What are the next steps? How do you communicate this to your customers, to the public, to the journalists, etc. So that will be very interesting. So that's July the 3rd. Please make a note, and it's in this room, and there's a lunch. Today's focus is on hotel innovation, and innovation in the hotel industry is very important because in the end it has the capacity to sort of transform the industry in a positive way. Over the past few years, there have been a lot of new inventions in the hospitality industry. 25 companies next door behind that wall are basically new ideas that have been developing at a very, very fast pace. So the industry is just racing ahead in this field. So although most service providers and hospitality-related services are doing their best to try and keep up with these trends and these rapid changes, there are new technologies that have really helped the industry to grow. And because we are a small independent hotel, we're not a legacy brand, we don't have a loyalty program, we're not part of a central reservations network. We have to stand completely alone. And that was the mandate the government gave when they approved this project. And in allowing the PolyU to build this hotel here, that was the deal. So for us, it's very important that we have to be very creative and innovative about how we let people know that we are here and how we do business and conduct business. So technology is very important. So from comprehensive smart room solutions to virtual reality to artificial intelligence, today we're going to explore all these technologies that have already started changing the hospitality industry, as well as looking at one real-life case study that is already encompassing a lot of these technologies. So I'd like to thank industry experts today. Cyberport, thank you very much. Peninsula Hotels, Sally is here. Sally used to work with us. She's now running all the IT innovation for Peninsula and will be sharing with you. Marriott. Marriott has a Room of the Future design center that they will be sharing with us. So thank you, Marriott. Sabre. Sabre, we do a lot of work with them. I'll be attending their big event in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks' time. Google. We have Google here. Thank you very much. And they will be sharing their innovations today. So remember to also visit the 25 exhibitors at the Science Park companies from the hospitality industry, showcasing their innovations and technologies in their booths next door. So as I said earlier, at Hotel Icon, these tomorrow's guest rooms are very, very important because we use them to teach students about how technology, and not just technology, but even ergonomics and furniture. We have, I teach hotel operations. So what often I do is to give them different guest profiles and let them design the room around different types of customers. And Dr. Park Sang-won from Hong Kong Polytechnic, one of my colleagues, will be mentioning this during the panel. The purpose of these rooms is to, as I say, let students innovate and develop and showcase new technologies. We are also looking at renovation ourselves because our hotel runs 96% occupancy year on year. So the rooms get hammered and very, although they're in very good condition still because we use excellent materials when we open, we are looking to refresh the rooms. But one of the important things is looking at upgrading our smart in-room technology. So we're working with different partners at the moment. And this solution will give guests more control over room environmental issues. Okay, so we're not looking at going really, really high tech, but we've done a lot of research from our guests to find out what they want. And actually what they want is very simple. They want to be able to control the temperature. They want to be able to control the curtains with a power source. They want more interaction with the TV and be able to watch movies and their own material. They want to be able to control the lighting sensibly. They want a very good power source. and at the same time maintaining a sort of premium experience. And because at Hotel Icon, our guest nationality mix is from about 15 different countries. Not one country has more than 8 to 10%. So we have a very, very broad, it's very unique in Hong Kong. We have a very broad mix of people. So when you've got technology in the room, it's got to be something that the guest understands, different nationalities of people. And so therefore we need to come up with very clear and simple ways to let guests know how it's used. So we believe it's all really about making the right choice. It goes beyond what's cool. There are a lot of gimmicks and fads out there, and it's really what's meaningful for the guest experience. And this way we can provide a really authentic experience and hospitality and continue to stay as a highly reputable hotel in Hong Kong. We always aim to be the model hotel, so we are watched very closely. We are really scrutinized by industry, by government, by the university. We're under the microscope. So whatever we do has to be very carefully thought through, very sensibly, and a certain logic to it. When I present an idea to my board, it's very different to you presenting, or when I was working with Shangri-La, presenting to the owners, because they already understand about hotel industry. But when you're talking to academics or people from other industries, you have to explain things in a very kind of pragmatic and logical way, not any kind of emotional attachment. So today, I really want to thank everybody once more, and I hope you have a fantastic time. Please open a dialogue, ask questions, and I hope you get a lot out of it. Also, please use this as a great networking opportunity. There's some very interesting and influential people here, and I hope you learned something. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Hatter. Following the opening remarks, we will have master students from the School of Hotel and Tourism Management to speak on the essentials of smart hotel room in the eyes of a millennial. Please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our presentation today. It is our pleasure to be here to share our research findings with you. Let me introduce my teammates now. I'm Doris. Here's my teammates, Renee and Dorothy. And our topic is Identify Essentials of Smart Hotel Room from Traveler Perspective with segment focused on traveling millennials. And here's the content we will go through today, including background, project objectives, methods, findings, recommendations, and conclusions. And in this research, we defined smart hotel as that can enhance guest experience by making use of innovation and technology. And for the millennials, we defined it as the generation that were born between 1980 to 2000, and they are now becoming the main driving force in the global market with their spending power and population. So we defined the 10 categories of smart hotel room applications according to its characteristics, including high-speed, stable, complementary Wi-Fi, smart room key, touchscreen-based controlling panel, app-based controlling system, smart gadgets, voice-based intelligent assistant, service robots, sensors, smart TV, and VR headsets. So, for our project objectives, you can see from the slides here, firstly, to review the state of art of smart hotel rooms, not only in Hong Kong, but also in the world. Secondly, to identify the essentials of smart hotel rooms from the perspective of traveling millennials. Thirdly, to provide recommendations to Hong Kong Hotel Association. Okay, for the method part, actually we used the mixed method to collect data. In the first stage, in-depth interview has been conducted to collect data from 20 millennials travelers from different nationalities and regions. Based on it, we developed a questionnaire. Finally, we successfully collected 308 copies. Among them, 260 are valid ones. So let me pass it to my partner, Renee, to tell you more about the funding part. Thank you.
And then we would like to share the findings we got from our research. In the first stage, the in-depth interview, there were 20 millennial travelers interviewees coming from 16 different nationalities or regions, and including 5 male and 15 females. They have traveled 3 to 48 times during the past 2 years. We summarized that the millennial travelers' opinions on the essentials of smart hotel room. They have both positive and negative comments in different smart applications. And also, they raised other essentials of the smart hotel room, including smart furniture, smart bathroom, in-room decoration, changeable windows or glasses, digital wall windows or glasses, self-alarm assistant, and so on. Among them, we would like to highlight that the smart furniture and bathroom were most mentioned and have the bigger potential to be applied in the smart hotel room. So we included them into the category of smart home applications and include them into our questionnaire. What's more, we summarized there were 9 benefits that millennial travelers really want to get from the smart hotel room, including convenience, fun, new experience, security, personalization, efficiency, reliability, premium status, and comfort. For example, the convenience means the smart application can make the guests control the room utilities easier, enjoy different kinds of service, and gain more information they want during their stay in the smart hotel room. Besides, the millennial travelers have diverse opinions on the smart hotel room, including that they are unfamiliar with smart hotels. They think that user-friendly is very important. They're concerned about the higher price, and they have many positive prospects of the smart hotel room in terms of cost saving, improving customer service. But at the same time, they think of the barriers and the negative prospects of smart hotel, such as hard to execution. And they raise some suggestion in terms of the customer needs, market segmentation, and the hotel staff training. Then I will pass to Doris to share the next stage findings.
So thank you, Renee. So in the following session, I will talk about some descriptive statistics from our findings. So first of all, it will be the profile of the respondents. The distribution of male and female respondents in our statistics is almost half and half, which can eliminate the probability of gender bias. And for the age group, most of them fell into the categories of 23 to 27 years old and 28 to 32 years old. We did also ask about what are their main travel purpose in the past 2 years, and over 60% of them traveled for leisure, and for the rest of them, most of them traveled for business purpose. And in the past 2 years, around 40% of them usually chose to stay in mid-tier hotels, followed by upscale hotels and economy hotels. And only 8% of them chose to stay in luxury hotels in the past 2 years. And because we want to gain more international insight from the respondents, we intentionally approached the respondents from from different countries instead of domestic or local people. So successfully, we collect 260 copies questionnaire from the respondents with 55 different nationalities. So you can take a quick look of the distribution of the nationalities, and they are really come from the different corners of the world. However, because we want to better organize and better for the later comparison, we categorize them into 14 subregions, which most of them came from the East Asia, followed by Northern Europe, North America, and Western Europe. And for the next, we want to know more about their travel frequency in the past 2 years. And according to the distribution of travel frequency of our results and from the secondary research, in our project, we defined the travel millennials as those who travel more than 3 times in the past 2 years. And we ask them to indicate that their travels are rather short-haul trips or long-haul trips. So in the short-haul frequency, most of them travel 10 times in the past 2 years. The mean will be 9.4 times, and the maximum number of short-haul trips in the past 2 years are 300 times. And for the long-haul frequency, most of them traveled 2 long-haul trips in the past 2 years, and the mean was 4.8 times, and the maximum number of long-haul trips in the past 2 years is 208 times. So here are the total frequency distribution. You can see that from in the past two years, most of them travel 6 times in the past 2 years, and the mean will be 14 times, and the maximum number of trips in the past 2 years was 350 times. And here comes to the main focus of our project, which we ask our respondents to rent the smart application based on their perceived necessity. So it is not surprisingly, the first one is the complimentary stable Wi-Fi rent as the first, and followed by smart TV, smart bathroom, smart room key, smart furniture, smart gadgets, touch screen-based controlling panel, app-based controlling system, and sensors. The bottom 3 will be voice-based intelligent assistants, VR headset, and the service robots. And in our data analysis, we want to find out are there any correlation between all the data. However, we find that there are no statistically significant differences in essentials choosing of smart hotel rooms. And to conclude, we can say that millennials travelers have consistent views and opinions, and the result of essential application in smart hotel room can be generally used in the hotels which target a millennial travelers. So here are some diagrams to show that there are no differences in essential choosing among millennials, no matter in terms of their gender, their ages, their preferred hotel types, or their different travel purposes. So in order to gain more insight from the millennial travelers, we asked about what kind of benefits they would like to gain most in smart hotel room. The top 5 will be convenience, comfort, efficiency, security, and new experience. And as we have to give out recommendation to the members of Hong Kong Hotels Associations, we want to know that are there any difference of essential choosing between hotel in general or specifically in Hong Kong hotel industry? And we include a part in our project that we ask our respondents to rent all the essential based on their perception of necessity in Hong Kong hotel industry. And the first 2 tables are the ranking on general, and the bottom one will be the importance ranking of smart application in Hong Kong. To have a clearer picture, we divide them into 2 parts, like the left-hand side will be the ranking in general, and the right-hand side will be the ranking in Hong Kong. As you can see, that from 4 out of the top 5 necessity are uniform, which will have Wi-Fi, smart TV, smart bathroom, and smart room keys. And they have totally same opinions in the bottom 3 necessity, which is with the voice-based AI, VR headsets, and service robots. We believe that it is because Hong Kong is an international destination from millennial travelers' perspective, and in terms of hotel use, they don't have big differences between Hong Kong and other major cities. And last but not least, we care about what hoteliers think about it as well. For the left 2 columns, they are the ranking from the customer's perspective, and the right-hand side is the data we collect from other projects, which we ask about the hoteliers, their perceived importance of the essentials. As we all know, that Wi-Fi will be ranked as the top, so it will be eliminated in this part, which you can see that for both parties, customers and hotels, rank smart TV and smart gadgets as the same ranking, which will be the first and the third. And both of the parties think that voice-based AI, VR headsets, and service robots are considered to be the least important in smart hotel. In the following part, Doris will have more in-depth discussion about the essentials.
Okay, thank you, Dorothy. Let's move on to the discussion part. So, firstly, not surprisingly, the Wi-Fi ranks the #1 place among all applications. But it is worth to be noticed that it should be high-speed, stable, and complementary Wi-Fi. The reason behind, because the generation of millennials, they really have strong desire to be connected. So they really have strong, they really want very they really have a high expectation on a proper configured and designed wireless network. And also they expect the Wi-Fi should be easily accessible and the procedure to log in and register should be user-friendly and simplified. Next comes to the smart TV. It ranked the second place among all applications. And lots of the respondents in our research mentioned that they would like the benefits that they can get from the smart TV is they can provide them with useful information and also can make their staying experience in hotel more personalized. The reason behind the high ranking result might be the popularization of it as a popular household appliance and also its mature technology. Thirdly, it comes to the smart bathroom. It ranked the third place among all applications. Lots of the respondents mentioned that they would like to get extra comfort and convenience from the smart bathroom. Especially, they mentioned that they would like to have a smart bathroom in their smart hotel room, especially for the smart toilet and smart shower system, so that they can easily use it to control the light, the water temperature, and also the massage function of the bathtub. Next comes the smart room key. It ranked the fourth place among all applications. Instead, it's not like the traditional plastic room key. It can really reduce the possibilities of deactivation, and also it can prevent the users from frustration when they losing their keys. And also it is convenient, efficient, and safe. And next comes to the smart furniture. It ranked the fifth place among all applications. They think it can really enhance their stay experience at hotel and provide them with comfort and relaxation. Especially, they mentioned that they would like to have a smart bed or chairs with the function of massage or temperature adjustments, so that maybe if it is better to have it if they can choose the angle and shape according to their preferences. For the bottom three, the voice-based intelligent assistant ranked the 10th place among all applications. Lots of the respondents mentioned that they think to having a voice-based intelligent assistant in a hotel room is not necessary. That might be because the immature technology or the unpopularization of it to putting it on a smart hotel room, which is also in line with the research results. It is suggested that sometimes some AI assistant cannot fully understand people with strong accents, and also it cannot always provide good answers. Next comes the VR headset. Lots of our respondents think it is not necessary and useless to having it in a smart hotel room. They are worried about the problems and the issues may occur during the process of using it. So they would more prefer to using it under the guidance of staff, instead of playing it at room. Last, service robot ranked the last place among applications. And lots of people still have a skeptical opinion about how smart the robots can be and whether they can provide better services. And some of them even mention that they are scared about the robot stuff in rooms. The reason behind it's actually not surprising, because lots of people when they stay at hotels, they are more prefer to be served by a human being, not a robot, because they think the robots are cold machines with no emotions. So let's come to the millennials travelers' needs. For the favored applications, which is in line with the most favored benefits, including convenience, comfort, and efficiency, hotel practitioners need to provide traveling millennials with smart applications that can meet their basic needs first. For the least favored applications, I mean the lower ranking ones, The reason behind might be because they have less confidence and trust to those immature technology, and also it has been affected by their previous unsmooth using experiences. Thirdly, which is also associated with their higher level of needs. Okay, let me pass it to my partner Renee to tell you more.
Based on the analysis and the main findings above, we would like to raise 5 recommendations to the Hong Kong hotels. Before all, the hotels are suggested to first conduct an internal analysis on identifying their own market segments, financial status, and resources, then choose what kinds of smart application they want to apply. So firstly, hotels with abundant funds and resources are suggested to directly apply the top essentials to satisfy the millennial travelers, including Wi-Fi, smart TV, smart bathroom, smart room key, and smart furniture. We would like to highlight that although the smart bathroom and smart furniture are currently new and rare in the market, but in our research, both the experts and the millennial travelers, customers, they perceive them as very important. So we recommend that the first hotels to apply them will become a competitive advantage and will let them to occupy the market representation successfully. Secondly, the hotels with limited funds and resources and lower flexibility to reconstruction will be recommended to apply the essential based on the necessity feasibility analysis. In our group, we identified the necessity from the customer perspective, and other consulting group provided the feasibility from the hotel's perspective. And 4 sections are identified. The section 1 is the high feasibility, high necessity. And the section 2 is low feasibility, high necessity. And the section 3 is high feasibility, low necessity. Section 4 is low feasibility and low necessity. Clearly that the application in the section 1 are most recommended to apply first and needed to be applied first because they have high feasibility and high necessity. There are 7 applications found in the section 1 and 3 found in the section 2. We can see that the VR headsets and robots are lying in the section 4, which means that it is not feasible from the hotel perspective and it is not desirable from the customer perspective to apply them in the guest rooms in a large scale. So we recommend hotels to apply them in the public area in a small scale, such as the lobby. So letting them to make more contribution to the guest greeting, luggage assistance, quick check-in, or the hotel reservation.
Thank you, Renee, for the following recommendation. We suggest that the hoteliers can have to look into the potential of future development of smart applications, because we think that our project is not the only reference which only shows the results in current situations. There are some limitations in our projects that, like the current smart hotels development is not really mature, and most of our respondents do not have much experience staying in the smart hotel rooms, and most of the respondents just answer the question just based on their limited knowledge about the current technology development. So we suggest that the essentials with lower rankings cannot be eliminated or ignored. For example, for the voice-based intelligent assistants and service robots did appear in some studies that they do have the value of enhancing guest experience. So we believe that benefit analysis may be the other way around for the hoteliers to consider what to implement into their hotels. For example, service robots is ranked as in the bottom of our project. However, most of the respondents think that in the coming future, with the advanced technology advancement, actually service hotel can best serve with their desired benefits, which is convenience and efficiency. So we suggest that with technology advancement, in the coming future, the ranking result will be different, and we suggest that the hoteliers do not limit themselves, but examine all the benefits and potential that essentials can provide in the coming future.
Okay, thank you, Dorothy. Let's move on to the how to apply part. Firstly, we do have some advices for upselling. So lots of the respondents in this research, they think they do willing to try new things and embrace change, but they still have concerns about the room price. So what should be done by hotels? So hotel can examine their customers' historical data and profile first. For the room with smart applications, they can provide the upselling offers to the customer who are less price sensitive, technology savvy, and also willing to try new things first. Next comes to the marketing part. So according to the theory of create needs and desire of customers, so the purpose of consumption is not just to meet the current needs in the market, but to create needs and satisfy them. So what hotel can do? So hotel can invite. So we do think the customers can and could be educated. So what hotel can do? Hotel can invite the key opinion leaders to share in the smart hotel rooms, and also to encourage them to post their experiences on different social media platforms, and also so that in this way to let more and more people to know what is smart hotel, what is smart hotel applications, and what's the real benefits and values that it can bring to them. Next comes to the ways to solving safety concerns. So lots of the respondents mentioned that they do worry about their personal information may be leaked in the process of using smart hotel applications, such as their address, their ID card information, their credit card information. So what hotel can do in this situation? We suggest hotel to invest a well-regulated and advanced supporting system to encrypt all of the data collected from customers. Secondly, to declare the act to customers every time it regards to collecting their personal data and personal informations. Thirdly, try to avoid to outsource the IT department so that can better control the process and to reduce the possibilities and the risks of outsourcing. Thank you.
What's more, the hotels should focus on the acceptance of the traveler millennials' acceptance of smart applications by enhancing the factors of perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. That is to say, they must let the guests know that the smart applications are served for their better experience, and make sure the applications are user-friendly. For example, there should be a clear instruction in universal language to teach them how to use the devices, and the devices themselves should be easily controlled. If the hotel want to apply the robotic stuff in the smart hotel, they should pay more attention to the hedonic factors such as perceived enjoyment, physical attraction, and perceived sociability of the robots. They should apply the robots with the mature technology, otherwise it may add more negative effects on the guest experience. Last but not least, if we think out of the focus of the millennial travelers group, there are other types of market segmentation, such as family with children, active silvers, business travelers, and they may have different perception of the essentials of the smart hotel rooms. So hotel should examine their own components of market segments first, and then if the millennial traveler are the only market segments, they can apply the smart rooms based on this study. If the hotels has multiple market segmentations, they can take care of other segmentation needs and wants by using different smart applications. For example, they can apply the VR headsets and the robots to the family with children, assuming that the children will be happier to play with the VR and the service robots. And they can apply the easy, simple technology such as facial recognition to the active silver, assuming that they would like to enjoy the easy technology. And they can apply the smart conference devices to the business travelers, assuming then they need more technology support for their business. Meanwhile, based on our research, different individuals will have different reaction to the smart applications. So we are suggested as a conservative strategy which means we will apply the smart room step by step, keeping parts of the rooms conditional and instead of applying them massively and aggressively. So in conclusion, we would like to highlight these takeaways of our research. First, top 3 smart hotel essentials that millennial travelers really want are high-speed, stable, and complementary Wi-Fi, smart TV, and smart bathroom. Second, millennial travelers' choice of top essentials can be well explained by the perceived benefits they want to get from smart hotel room. That is convenience, comfort, and efficiency. Third, the smart applications, which were perceived to be least important, may be due to the current immature technology development. 4, the hotel should decide what to apply by conducting the internal analysis first. Then, the hotels with abundant resources can consider to apply the top essential based on the necessity. Hotels with limited resources and lower flexibility to reconstruction can consider to apply essential in section 1 based on the necessity feasibility analysis. Then, hotels can use benefits analysis to evaluate the potential of smart applications in the farther future. Finally, hotels should apply the smart applications in the room by using the technology acceptance model, differentiated application strategy, conservative strategy, marketing strategy, safety strategy, and the customer-oriented strategy. And that's all we want to share today. We would like to thank of the help and support from the Hong Kong Hotels Association and our instructor, Dr. Catherine Chang. And thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy, Doris, and Renee for the presentation. May I ask you to remain on stage as I invite Wilson Lee, Chairman of Smart Hotel Development Committee of Hong Kong Hotel Association, to present a certificate in appreciation of your presentation. Now we will move on to our panel discussion of the day, titled Intelligent Operations to Support Seamless Experiences. May I now invite our panelists, Sally Osborne, Director of Technology Innovation at the Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotels, owner and operator of the Peninsula Hotels. Dr. Stella Kwan, Chief Corporate Development Officer, Cyberport Hong Kong. Ben Luke, Area Director IT Operations, Marriott International, and our moderator of the panel discussion, Dr. Sang Woon Park, Associate Professor at the School of Hotel and Tourism Management. Please.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the panel discussion entitled Intelligent Operators to Support Seamless Experiences. My name is Dr. Sang-Won Park, Associate Professor at the School of Hotel and Tourism Management in the Hong Kong Polytechnic University and the moderator of this panel session. During the last decade, we have seen a rapid evolution of information technology in our society. As you know, the emergence of mobile technology entirely reshaped our communication and information search behaviors. At present, all the forms of technology, like artificial intelligence and the automated robots, already arrived in our community in general, and the hotel industry in particular. For example, current guests are able to find the hotel information via Siri or Alexa as voice-activated systems. And then automated robots can help people to check in, check out their hotel rooms. In addition to these guest interactions, this automated robot technology have large potentials to affect entire aspects of hotel management. Hence, it is a timely topic to discuss in this panel, so particularly understanding the integration of technology in the hotels, so-called smart hotels or smart hospitality, and the impact of it on guest experiences and such efficiency of hotel operations. So I'm very pleased to invite the 3 brilliant leading industry people for our panel sitting next side of me. So please allow me to them to briefly introduce who they are. After that, we can start a very active, interesting discussion afterward. Okay, so Dr. Stella Kwan, please.
All right, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, students, thank you for the invitation. I'm Stella Kwan. I'm now the Chief Corporate Development Officer of Cyberport. So it is a government-owned company that cultivate talents in terms of innovation and technology. And before that, I was with tourism and retail management. So that's why, and of course, I'm a traveler myself. And so I will be able to share some of my personal experience later on. So is that enough for me to introduce
sure,
myself? You want more?
So, I think you, as much you're comfortable, it's
all
fine.
right, but well, on tourism, because I was with a Onping 360, that's the cable car operation. So we always talk about, guest experience and how do we, solve the pain points of our guests who need to queue up for a long time. So of course, technology is always a way that can help to resolve, but it's not 100% solution because we need to care about. We do have a capacity issue, and we need to care about a lot of other issues. So even now, I'm in the technology and innovation sector. I'm still not a tech person, but application of technology and also stimulating the interest of the public about application of technologies in all economies is also one of our missions. And we believe that there will be a lot of changes that technology can bring along to a guest experience. Okay. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And then Ms. Sally Osborne.
Hello? Yeah. Now we're on. Good morning all, lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Director of Technology Innovation for Hong Kong Shanghai Hotels Limited. You probably better know us as the Peninsula Hotels, but under our umbrella we also have residential, retail, tourism and many other businesses. So my remit really covers all of those areas. Obviously the hospitality hotel side is one of the key areas. I started working with Peninsula 3 or 4 years ago, where we started to develop something called our Technology Steering Committee. This was really about bringing forward the vision of each of our business units, from marketing, sales, finance, HR, through to R&D and operations, and really thinking about how we could bring collaboration and communication to each of our business units with regards to technology. On from that, we've got 3 new hotels opening over the next couple of years, which for us is quite a big event. We've got 10 hotels, and to open 3 in 2 years, in the next couple of years, is quite large for us. We needed to think about the future of what our operation looks like with regards to technology. So not just the guest experience, the touch points that they have, but also the back of house operation where we can bring efficiency, and things like mobility, automation, personalization. So we've really had to think about what that roadmap looks like, and that's something that we chair with our CEO, Clement Kwok, and something that we work on.
Great, thank you very much. And then Mr. Ben Luke, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ben. I'm coming from Marriott International. My current role is the Area Director of IT for South China. So I look after 4 different regions, China, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and then so it's about 100 hotels, not much. Hotel operations. I think I agree with Sally's point of view. From a hotel point of view, it's always a challenge. From a day-to-day point of view, I get in touch with owners. Talking about smart hotels, selling new technology, but fundamentally, I think a lot of group or owners need to understand smart hotel is not just buying new technologies. Fundamentally, you need the whole infrastructure, the whole environment to work together, not just a piece of hardware. You need people to drive it. You need everything to work as a whole ecosystem. So not just buying something new or cool gadgets, and the whole thing works. So it's about human infrastructure as well as the whole element of smart. Yep.
Great. Thank you very much for your brief introduction. Okay, then let me start the first question. So as you can see, our title of this summit, we're talking about smart hotel. But as you can see, our panels, they're coming from different sectors, from government sector or a private holding company, and then also hotel itself. So I'm wondering, I believe that your understanding or definitions of a smart hotel would be quite different. So let's try to start in the fundamental questions. Can you please briefly tell us, how do you define, how do you understand the smart hotels from your sectors, from your viewpoint, please?
Oh, all right. For government, all right, or for a public body, we think that a smart hotel is only part of the experience of a smart hospitality. It's only, but a very important part of all tourists who stay overnight. At Cyberport, we also have a hotel, the Meridian. So it's not a big scale hotel, but it's a very cozy hotel. So we are also trying to deploy technologies into it. But I think the students has done very good research and also a lot of good recommendations from a millennials perspective. And we in the hotel, because of our role to nurture and also to support information technology startups, so we also try to deploy as many as possible the products and services or technology from the startups. Of course, not only from Cyberport, but can also be from Science Park or other incubation ecosystems. So I think this is a way for us to help to have those startups products to be able to be commercialized, to bring to the real world, and also to be tested. So I think it is one of the ways how we also collaborate with our startup communities. And so talking about smart tourism or smart hospitality, I think it all starts from the booking of hotel and air tickets right from your hometown. And then when you arrive Hong Kong, how do you check out of the airport and then arriving with smart mobility, arriving to the hotel. All these are part of the total experience of before you enter into your room. And that all affect ourselves in terms of mood, in terms of whether I'm happy, whether I'm relaxed. And I would try to look at it from even a broader perspective back in when you are trying to plan your trip, and of course when you go back home. So hotel is a very important part, but it's a very important part of the whole journey experience. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. How to think about it, Sally?
I think when we think about smart, we think about how the technology will enhance the overall experience, really. And it's not just about, it's obviously hugely about the guest experience, but it's also about our people. Peninsula are very much about our people, how the technology will help them go about their day. And it's really about that very kind of subtle touch. How is that technology going to enhance their day? But really, the work that we're doing with the roadmap, we call it the digital transformation, but with a human touch. We are very, very careful to make sure that the technologies that we bring in and the technologies that we look at really do kind of have a very seamless approach in terms of the way that they work. So, yeah, but we've had an R&D team in our business since 1980. There's 20 people in a lab in Wong Chuk Hang working on the smart room technology. We had one of the first touchscreen technologies, and we're working on the second version of that now. And there's many, many other areas. We're about to employ these 3 new hotels. The hotel in Istanbul is 3 palaces along the Bosphorus, very large hotel. For us, we need to be thinking about robotics, mobility, things that we haven't really probably thought about in the past.
Okay. Great. How about Ben?
Okay. Regarding smart hotel, I think a lot of focus on guests, but also at the back of house, I think it's also a smart as well. I think efficiency, I think for hotel, from an owner perspective, I think if you're putting something smart in the hotel, they will stick an ROI into it. I mean, they need to have an investment return. They want to make sure it's more efficiency for the hotel as well as for the guests. I mean, from the guest point of view, I think it's more convenient. It's the most. I think if you're putting a new gadget in the room, they need to read the manual to how to use it. It's not convenient. So we're not making smart hotel is more familiar with what you have already maybe in your rooms. So we have USB ports right next to the bedside. So I think this is something most of the households or your home even have a USB connector. So this is something familiar and convenient for the guests. I think it's more the way to go for a smart hotel.
Okay, great. Actually, when I listen to your responses, it seems that, yeah, also as we know, smart hotel hospitality require certain adoption of technology. So as also Sally, you mentioned the digital transformation. I think this is one of the key success to make a smart hotel is the digital transformations. So I think my question going to particularly Stella and Sally. So for Ben, I have another question to you later. So to both of you guys, then I also, when I meet the hoteliers in Hong Kong, they always have a big questions. How do we achieve the goal of digital transformation? So you are the company who sometimes help the hoteliers to move it better. So any suggestion to make them to make the digital transformation successfully in their own hotel properties?
Okay. Yeah. I think really for us it's been about that change adoption, really working with our people. It's been very much a communication piece, working closer with the people in our operation. You know, people probably never think about it as a marketing piece, but it's very, very much been about talking to our people constantly and getting them involved in this change. We've had them involved in, you know, kind of putting forward ideas, being part of the technology steering committee. And I think it's really about getting them excited about the change. We have a lot of people within our business that have been with us 20, 30 years. You know, a lot of the work that we're doing is around data, knowledge, communication through technology, operational efficiency items. And I think it's key that they feel part of that change. And we've had to do a lot of work to communicate and have the companies and all of our operations globally be very much involved in this so that they feel like they're part of that change.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the smart thing to many people, especially, we can say that, you know, in the old economy and then you add in with new technology, so there's a paradigm shift and also it's a cultural change also. So some people would be very afraid of, you know, going into technology. Would I be replaced? So of course there may be redeployment of employees, redeployment of, you know, competence, and I think it's a part of the journey. But we need to, as what Sally said, you know, largely and deeply engage our own staff first. If they don't buy in with what we are doing, how can they be smart enough to serve our guests? So a cultural change, also it would have a lot of failures also. All right, because it's try and error, and then maybe you think it's a, you know, top state-of-the-art thing, but then it was not welcomed by guests or things like that. And also it would also involve a lot of procedural changes, a lot of re-engineering of processes. So all these would make a lot of changes to the daily working life of our employees. So accepting them, accepting technology, accepting that is part of the way to success, and it's a change that we all need to embrace. I think it's the most important thing for any digital transformation. And of course then is the deployment of the technology itself, all right, whether it's really customer-centric. So we need to really understand, are they helping to create more convenience or efficiency or comfort for our customers? Or do we do it for the sake of doing it because my competitors are doing? All right, that is a very important part that we need to bear in mind, especially for top management.
Okay. Great, thank you for your answer. So we just talked about adoption of new technology. So let me ask a question about the impact. So we think about potential future impact of the smart hotel. So we know that while we try to adopt technology will become the smart hotel, so potentially the smart hotel can enhance guest experiences in our hotel as well as improve productivity, labor productivity, or efficiency of hotel operations. So actually, also Richard has mentioned before, with Hotel Icon, we have such a learning and teaching hotel. So I'm the coordinator for Tomorrow Guest Rooms. I'm not quite sure you have heard about it. So in the 10th floor, we have 3 rooms where we can try a number of different technological related experiments. So we have some ideas to propose such IoT rooms, which means Internet of Things rooms, collaborating with the School of Design and the School of Hotel Tourism Management, as well as involvement of industry people, so industry vendors, to totally change the design of rooms with the technology embedded inside of it. So then what's the main goal is to enhance the guest experiences. So we also doing it there as well, but let me ask a question to the band, particularly Marriott case. As long as we know, 2017, Marriott publicized the news saying that they start the initial project of the IoT rooms, Internet of Things in Marriott. So my question to Ben too is that, can you please share what lessons you learned from Marriott by launching the initial IoT rooms in your company? Then what's your plan, in future plan? So then, do you think that the smart hotel rooms really improve guest experiences?
Yes, we in our U.S. headquarters, we in the basements, we have a IoT room lab. So we work with a lot of partners to put in new technology in IoT. Well, IoT is simply just connecting more things in the internet, right? So in Marriott, at this point in time, we still believe our whole infrastructure, Wi-Fi network, has to be stabilized. The top of the Wi-Fi, it needs to be good Wi-Fi for every single hotel. So that's why we are pushing all the hotels to use our standards, all our managed hotels. For the IoT lab, it's just a Lego pieces under the basements. It's mix and match so that it tries out on the real world to see how, if a new piece of technology put in the guest room, how does it fit in the guest experience. So we also invite guests to give us comments if this gadget works for you, or how do you like in positioning in the hotel. So I think we got a lot of feedbacks from all our partners as well as guests. Moving forward, as you know, in Marriott we have 30 different brands. Our point of view on IoT is we try to prove through all the technology across all our brands. So we don't really want to have one piece of technology only works for one particular brand. So our point of view is we want to have something that works for everyone. So every brand. So that's why the mobile keys. I think one of the things that we are pushing at the moment. Soon this will have all our Marriott hotel will start using mobile key as well. So I think that's coherent with the first study that the student do. I think one of the key was mobile key. It has to be secure and convenient and keyless for the guests. I think we're slowly getting there. There's a lot of startup company, IoT new gadgets, but it's really fit into the real world. That's something we need to look into and further down to discuss. Yeah.
Okay. Great. And then also, again, so the hotel icon, the teaching hotel. So in terms of technology, so in our class, we're collaborating with the industry to come along to teach how technology can help for revenue management or the front desk service as well. So let me ask a question to Peninsula Gazelli. Can you please share your views how the high technology in the hotel can improve guest experiences as well as hotel operations in particular? Can you please share your opinion?
Well, I think for us, we've been thinking about, obviously we're changing from 10 hotels to 13 hotels, which is quite big for us. But it's about that globalization, kind of how do all our hotels interact with each other? What are we doing with data? That's been the core of a lot of the work that we've been doing. How do we get that 360 view of the guest? We've got guests that are living in Repulse Bay. They might be staying in Tokyo. They might be sparring in New York. We need to make sure that personalized experience is flowing through all of our hotels. That's one of the key things we've been thinking about at the core. Big data, personalization, and thinking about, how we bring fantastic insights out of that data to our operational staff. So when they're front of house, insights about a guest that may be coming to us from New York and we may know from other parts of our business. How do we bring those insights up in terms of communication? What technologies are we using to allow our guests, whilst they're going about their business, to not be in the back office finding out all of this information? They're actually out front and they're hearing these insights and they're working to these insights. So we've been working a lot with AI technology, and there is actually a company that's in the lab at the moment that's out the back there that's been working with us to deliver insights and bring us behavioral items and all of this kind of thing. But I think, we just have to be very careful the way that we do this. We want our staff to ultimately be very busy with the guests. We want them to be giving that experience. But how can we bring a little word into their ear? Or how can we bring a piece of technology on the front desk or remove them from the front desk? All of these items we're thinking about.
Yeah, great. Actually, also, I can see a number of questions from audience. Please feel free to leave your questions. We try to address as many as we can. So let me look at the question from audience. So first, when I think that, so I think that the last one, so to Sally, again, go back to Sally. Do you think people choose Peninsula hotels because of the technology?
I think anybody from Peninsula will probably hope that probably it's not the technology that's at the forefront of the mind, but I hope that we will and we are definitely in the next 2 to 3 years of our roadmap for our new openings. We are going to be thinking very much about the choice that the guest gets when they come to our hotels. We have obviously a slightly older age range that comes into a lot of our hotels currently. When I sit with them and then I sit with a lot of the younger guests that we have, totally different things that they want. And so it's all about choice, making sure that for our younger guests, they're getting the things that they need when they're in the room, when they're in the hotel, the speed, the check-in, the check-out process, but also for some of our older guests, when they're in the room, they don't want to be faced with a ton of technology, and they just want things to work, quite frankly. So, I do a lot of research with our guests to see how we can balance that, and that's quite an interesting piece.
Great. I think that the next question quite relevant to Ben and Stella in particular. So, do you think? What do you think the biggest challenge in changing a hotel into smart hotel? In Ben's case, you're already dealing with a number of properties, and then you are the IT director, the Marriott, as an entire region. So can you please tell us what's the biggest challenge to make the hotel into smarter? Yeah.
Let's start from the easier ones. New ones, it's much easier. New mind in concept, people willing to accept changing on the new directions. Nowadays, everyone has easily 4 or 5 devices carried into the room. So that's why I think the mindset has been changed. I'll use the word unfortunately on the conversion side of the hotels. We need to spend a lot of time to convince the owners what is coming, what is next, why are we spend so much on the infrastructure, buying new technologies. I think that's the part where they talk about ROI and simply sometimes, for example, the case of Wi-Fi. Nowadays, all free Wi-Fi. If an owner comes to me saying, "Can you tell me a return of investment on Wi-Fi?" There's none, because Wi-Fi is free. Wi-Fi becomes like a hot water in the guest room. So you don't have Wi-Fi, people just turn away and check out in your room. They wouldn't even book your room. So that's why there's pros and cons. New hotels much easier. Conversion hotel, we need to work some time to convince the owners. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I also agree it's a return on investment, but of course, how do you measure return? I mean, is it just dollar signs? Or customer loyalty, your stickiness with your stakeholders, branding, everything. That also is part of the return. But seldomly we can quantify or financially quantify that part, and that's why it's very difficult to convince owners or investors. And also I think is the change of technology and the change of human behavior. So it's always like a pendulum. If you go to extreme of a really smart hotel or hotel room, people sometimes want to be, back to basics. I don't want to be, bothering with all these. I just want to relax. So I want somebody to talk to. I don't want a robot, for example, things like that. So how do you find a more optimum point in this part? I think it's a very challenging part. While your competitors are doing this, and while everybody is talking about it, are you not doing anything? Or are you doing too much? You want to do faster to lead the way, or you want it to be, a follower, or so I think that is a challenge for everybody, and it is not cheap. It's an expensive investment, right? So I think that would be the challenge. Yeah. So how far we go.
Yeah, I think this is a great point. Is that so we know that the voice text-based system is important. Robot is quite important coming into, but as you said, all the guests have a high tech savvy, so not everyone can easily adapt to technology. So we need to make a balance, which is provide innovative experiences as well as make them feel comfortable while they're staying in hotel. This is one of the big challenges. So now we are keep talking about technology. So let me a little bit change the view into labor. Okay, so very important. In the hotel, I don't believe that also, if you disagree, please let me know that. I don't believe that technology or robot entirely replacing human labor in the hotel. Of course not. But actually, the people who use technology, our staff, our labor. So then, so now the mobile technology already coming into, and the new AI, or machine learning, big data, robots, new technology coming into. So my question is that, also I'm in the university, in the academy, we are teaching, and then we are teaching the future staff who will be hired one of your hotels. So then, can you please tell us, do you think the future hoteliers require new types of a skill set to facilitate the smart hotels with a bunch of technology in there? Or do you think it's okay, we can keep teaching what we used to teach so that they can have similar types of skill sets? So again, so can you please share your view? Do we really require new type of skill sets or new knowledge to cope with evolution of a smart hotel? How do you think about it?
Obviously, Peninsula, we're a very traditional group. I know that in terms of service standards and the way that we train our staff, I think that will continue in the same vein for a very long time. But I do think that, assistance from technology is definitely the way forward. A lot of our staff are starting to understand that, sometimes they may just get a little bit of assistance from, we're looking at ideas of, kind of delivery of linen. We're looking at ideas of robotic process automation in some of our back office areas, with regards to financing and that kind of thing. So I think, definitely in the future, they will be working alongside, but I don't think you're going to see a robot on the front desk of a Peninsula anytime soon.
Great.
Yeah, I totally agree with Sally's point of view. Everyone should know that the robot hotel in Japan just closed down. So, I don't think that it's near futures. I don't think there will be a robot helping people to check in, but certainly a robot element will intervene in the hotel, or helping, carrying things or transporting things. I think for the heavy lifting, probably they will be, but the human touch, it's always, that's what we hotel, it's a surface level. So I know some people don't go to the check-in counter. That's why we have mobile keys. So you just go in and get into a room and enjoy yourself. And in a luxury brand hotel, people like to greet each other, say hi by your names, your preferences. So we have different segment of people or preference of people. So I don't think robot is the key for everything. Yep.
Great.
Right. I think a hotel room is a home away from home. So so it's still a very human type of operation for hotel. So I still think that the way that we teach our employees should be still from the customer service perspective, from the heart. I think that is still the very core thing that you still continue to teach, all right, our next generation, because you are serving, you are really offering a service and making your guests to be feeling at home. So that's very important. So, and then technology is enabling, better service. I think that should be the mindset. So it's not replacing you, it's enabling you to give a better service to your customers, to engaging more of your customers and building loyalty. I think that is important learnings or teachings for our next generation. And I think, again, I personally still want somebody to talk to with a smiling face.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing your view. And then, actually, all the questions from audience are still related to technology, okay? So let me pick up some of them. I think the second and fourth are quite relevant to question. So is that, can you provide some specific example of an innovative smart technology product that improve the guest experiences and the efficiency of a hotel? And it's just one example from Marriott, Peninsula, and then also from Cyberport as well.
Loyalty program? Well,
A lot of examples.
yeah, well, in Marriott, there's quite a lot, so that's why I'm thinking which one I can tell. Back of house, I can say we do have a solution pushing out worldwide. I don't want to mention the name, but in our hotel, we use a single platform. So we kept all the guest preferences synchronized at the whole globe. Currently, we have more than 7,000 hotels. It's a challenge for us to keep all our guest profiles in one database and then share across all our hotels. And this new piece of platform enable all our associates can easily view those information on the handheld, and as well as requesting for guests to request service and for timely response. I think this is something, back to Sally's point, guest preference is always in hotel is the key. Nothing better than you go into a hotel, people can greet your name, know what you like to eat, and getting prepared for you, and your room is on the right temperature. Those kind of things are what I think hotelier is looking for. I think I think definitely the system that we roll out for back of house at the moment worldwide, it's very useful and it's very effective for us to efficiently work with the guests.
Okay, great. Yeah, before you go, can I ask the follow-up question? Yes, that also, in terms of efficiency of hotel management, when we talk about AI or robots, we don't really simply solve it at front, but like when you think about revenue management, Duetto or ideas, they're collecting massive data, and they're using the machine learning algorithm to forecast for tourist demand, and then to anticipate the consumer behaviors based upon the big data analytics. So this is such another part of smart tourism, smart hotel, smart hospitality, to make the wise decisions in the hotel. So you briefly mentioned your Marriott loyalty program. I believe there are also Marriott hotel collecting lots of data of your consumer profiles. Can you please share briefly how the Marriott hotel used the consumer profile data that make the better decision in your hotel strategy?
Well, in a way, I agree the AI, it's helping a lot. It's the processing, but at the end of the day, we still have our revenue team. So we still need a human touch to make the decision if they are doing the right decisions. Or there's sudden change in the market, or there is sudden events in the market happening, the weather change, or act of God. So those things are AI may not be able to predict. It's always a human is more react on the actual situations and making the right decisions. I think AI it's more on a recommend base at this point. That's what I think. AI it's there, but we cannot live without it. But we still need someone to work with it. Okay. In case of the loyalty program, yes, we at the moment we have. I'm sure everyone knows Marriott Bonvoy. It's our key marketing campaign for all our members. So recently we joined all three our rewards programs. So we have a huge database. We have lots of guest preferences. So that's why in Marriott, we try to make all our guests feels like home or familiar with what they're surrounding in the hotel. I think it's good that the system that we just roll out, it's easily for our internal associate to get all those informations, what a guest preference is, what are their last day, what are their experience, and then just bring up the whole journey, the guests understand their behaviors, or even their consuming patterns as well. Well, in Marriott, we have more than 7,000 hotels, and we try to be one of our favorite travel company in the world. So this is our vision of Marriott as well. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. And then Sally and Stella, can you please give one of a innovative example that enhance the guest experience or hotel efficiency?
All right. We are working on a smart mirror in the hotel room, whereby actually it was installed with different programs such as Tai Chi or yoga or different kind of things, so that you can learn or do some exercise in the room. And if you do it wrongly, they will tell you. All right. So it's a personal trainer basically inside a hotel room is one of the things that we are embarking on. And also from the hotel operations, for example, like the public area in terms of the air quality, and also in restrooms, toilets, is it smelly, is it wet, is it air quality is not good, so we can have detection so that you can immediately inform our back of house people to go there immediately to clean up. So I think it's also some of the ways to help us to efficiently improve the environment for our hotel guests.
I think it's the main thing for us is about this knowledge kind of data strategy that we're working on at the moment. It enables us really to bring a lot of insight, and it also gives us the chance through the AI to be able to question, our thinking. I think, probably in the industry there's been a lot of gut thought, and that's the way we've done it for a very long time. Whereas some of the platforms that we're engaging with now on big data allows us to actually question some of our thinking, and allows us to be a lot closer in terms of personalization. And that goes all the way through. What we're trying to do at the moment is that guest journey right from the moment they hit the ground, whether they come through one of our cars or whether, how they come through, and then that relationship that we have all the way through pre and post. And, we've always had these technologies in our business that help us with that, like the in-room tablet that we've always had. We've always had, great staff experience, but now it's about kind of making sure that as they go through that experience with us, we're capturing that information so that we can work better with that in the future. Not in a creepy way, but just to be able to make sure that we can look back and say, okay, what do we know and how can we make that experience better in the future?
Great, yeah, thank you very much. We only have 5 minutes left, so let me pick another question from here. Yeah, I think, this question is not just in the hospitality industry, but applying to whole sectors. I think I read one industry report written by McKinsey last year. They forecast that I think in the next decade, the human job, 40% of human job will be replaced by robots. And then I read some newspapers saying that some of the country, they're gonna replace 30% of a military force by AI or robots, something like that. So then this also, all the AI, artificial intelligence, or the robots coming into our sector, hotel industry, we cannot really disregard it. There's a tsunami of this kind of a high evolution of technology in our sector. So do you think that this kind of a high technology will replace some of the human labor in the hotel industry? If it has, then which part of a department, which part of a specific area will be potentially or can be expected to be replaced by a robot?
I think things like process automation, processes that we go through day in, day out, the mundane, that maybe we could bring in some automation. the thing for us is that we say, well, hang on a minute, that enables us to bring that person out front. You know, a lot of our general managers are very keen to not see people sitting at desks inputting, you know, numbers and figures and this, that, and the other. They want them out with the guest, and so that's really our approach. I think if we bring this in, that we'll be looking at what those people can do to engage the guests more.
So, any opinions?
Well, it really comes down to robot replacing human. So IT will have a lot of jobs to do. So you need all the ITs in the hotel to make sure things are working good for us. So in a way, so we're just shifting people in the service part probably to an IT, more savvy, more technology area. So I think the human element is still there. I don't think, just like I mentioned, Japan, the robot hotel has been closing down because of the high pricing maintenance of the robots. So
can I just say it was waking up guests in the middle of the night.
In the room, right?
yeah, exactly. So that's why we still at this stage, I think no, not in the near future or 5 or 10 years time. I don't think robot will really replace human. But like I mentioned before, like some heavy lifting works, maybe they probably will have robots to more efficiently helping the guests, not entirely replacing human. Yeah.
Yeah, not entirely, but I see that some would be replaced personally. So I think for us as employees, we need to be continuously learning, and that's why I said redeployment of your competency and also improving yourself. So I think the technology would be enabling us to serve our guests better. So of course, more would be more in the front to serve our guests personally. But for repetitive work, it can be done by machine, maybe even a better way. And also, actually, in Hong Kong, we all understand that there's a labor shortage, or there may be a mismatch of there's a labor shortage anyway. So it's not that hotels do not want to employ those people, it's that no people is coming into the hotel to work for us. So I think with machines or with technology, we'll be able to solve part of the labor shortage problems and still giving our guests reasonable or good service. And so we need to partner with our technology. But I mean, as an employee, as everybody, we need to be always up to date ourselves with different technologies or new trends.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I quite agree with what panel members said. I don't also believe that robot entirely replaces human labor in hotel industry in particular. But somehow, a lot of people quite scared of the emergence of a robot. But when you think about several decades ago, when online travel agency, Expedia or Booking.com come into traditional travel agent, really quite scared of that they're going to take all our job. But it's not, because new jobs related to online travel agency has come up with it. So I'm quite pretty sure that once you have AI, machine learning, robots coming into, of course, some of the jobs will be replaced by it, but the new job also generated, so we can have enough such a place to work with it. And then also guest experience, the last thing is that, as Stella said, a really good point, is always to make the balance between, we do not have to put all technology inside, so let customers use it. It's not a good approach. We need to find out where's the optimal point where balancing between guest experiences and the innovative aspects as well. This is what we are doing, again, the TGR, Tomorrow Guest Rooms with the hotel icon. So what we are trying to find out the key point, and then we are willing to share with all hoteliers. So please so keep an eye on our updates. We are very happy to share with that. Again, thank you very much for all the panelists to share your insights with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the exciting panel discussion.
Good morning, everybody here. Thank you very much for having me here to share something about smart hotel. First of all, I want to say thank you for the host today, Hotel Icon, giving me a chance to share in this section. My topic today is what's next if you have a smart room. I'm going to share with you the secret. First, how to increase, enhance our customer expectation to a more premium one, or our box or wow experience. Secondly, to increase the stickiness of the mobile app, the hotel mobile app, and to retain customer. When we talk about smart hotel, commonly we have a lot of topics like smart room, self check-in, keyless hotel, using mobile app or using the face as a key card, robot builder, and smart mobile app, and more. What is smart room in hotel? Let's start with smart room. What do you think smart room can do for you? In the older days, when we say smart room, features including like the lighting control, the air conditioning, the curtain. Even better is to turn on the TV without using the remote control. You can set the do not disturb mode. Usually, these features are controlled, achieved through the panel, through the control panel. Instead of nowadays, we are using wall switches. Does it smart? Technically, yes. It is smart. But it is not smart enough in the year 2019. We need a smarter option, a smarter option. In the older day, the features of smart room is passive. You turn on the light button, the light will on. It's passive. However, nowadays we're always talking about the user experience, personalized experience, meaning that they are more user-driven. So the smart room should welcome their customer in a more active way. Imagine when the guest open the door with the key card, the light, the room light on, the curtain open. Do you have a beautiful Victoria hotel, a Victoria harbor view? And also the music turn on softly, and the television turn on with hotel greeting. Is it a wonderful, a lovely experience? Sure, yes. Also, it is the first impression, a lovely impression for the guests, for valuable guests. How can we achieve this? Let's start from the very beginning, from the check-in process. When your guest arrives at your hotel, during the check-in process, your PMS will send a message to the room. The room is now occupied. The room will base on the weather outside, the current weather, to be set before the customer go into the room, to be set the temperature to a comfortable level. For example, if the outside is cold, heat mode is on. The temperature be set to, say, 25 degrees Celsius. When the outside is very hot, so the temperature may be set to 22 degrees Celsius. In order to achieve this, it requires a good system integration. A smart room system should have the capability to communicate with the PMS and all other back-end systems. After the check-in, now come to the warm welcome. When the guests enter the room for the first time, a welcome scene is activated. The light turn on, the curtain open, the music start, etc. You may ask, how do you determine that is the first time? Of course, we need some sensor. We need a door sensor to check with the door status. Is it open or not? How about the door is not open by the guest? So it requires system integration again. A good smart room system will communicate with the door lock system. The welcome scene will only be activated when the door is opened by the key card for the first time. Next, energy saving, energy efficiency. Sometimes we will use sensor to detect the occupancy. Are there any guests in the room? If nobody there, set the thermostat back, turn off the light to reduce energy waste. You can add a green button in the smart light switches. Your guests can opt in to join your green program to agree to reduce energy waste when they are not in the room. We are now not only use the infrared sensor or motion detection to detect the occupancy, because sometimes it may not accurate enough. A smart room can consider every activities happen in the room. For example, even the door is closed. Even the motion detection detects there's nobody there. However, there's some activity there. For example, maybe just turn on the light or turn the air conditioner. The room is marked occupied now. Besides, a smart room system can use the sensor to tailor-make for your customer. For example, at nighttime, when the guests get out of the bed, there are pathway lights to the bathroom for them to go to the bathroom easily. When we give a digital device to our guests to control the room, sometimes they expect more, the timeliness, the efficiency. So the smart room should have the ability to communicate with your housekeeping and job order system, so that requests from the customer from the smart room will directly, automatically send to the related system in order to streamline the operation. I think everybody here believes that a good wake-up will let you feel full of energy today, a whole day. Of course, the smart room can take care of this. You can let your customer, your guest, to set your wake-up scene, meaning that you can let the guest to schedule their wake-up with the sunshine, and also the wake-up scene will trigger, open the curtain, turn on the music, the lights softly on. Also, on the other hand, you can give your customer a good night button near the bedside, and then when they press the button, then the good night mode trigger, the room sleep, meaning that the lights off, the curtain closed, make sure that's dark enough, quiet enough for you to sleep. Our smart room solution take care of business. Business is business. A smart room solution is not like a smart home solution. Take care only a single unit. Our smart hotel home solution need to control and manage more than 1,000 or 100 rooms. It also needs a remote management platform, which is designed to monitor, to diagnose the repair. The beauty of this remote management platform is it is able to detect the device failure before human detection, before your customer know it. All the status of the device, of the controllable unit, will have their health check reported to the controller in the room and then sent back to the back-end server. So whenever there's a device failure, you can create a job order to the technical department to follow up immediately. Flexibility. A smart room must be flexible enough to match the customer needs. So it must be completely programmable, configurable on different room types. Take the wall switches as an example. Do you know how many times your customer, your guests use it? You can capture this kind of big data to analysis. Any button is not user-friendly. Nobody will use it, touch it. Which scenes? The wake-up scene, the theater scene is favorable. Almost all the guests will use it, at least one. Based on this big data, you can change the programming, update the setting remotely. Okay, what's next if you have a smart room? Put it into your mobile app, the hotel mobile app. Talking about hotel mobile app, common features nowadays are like booking, membership, bill checking, hotel directory, promotion, digital key. I just mentioned what's next. If you have a smart room, what next if you have a smart room is to put all the smart control, all the smart room control into your mobile app. Think about it. Your guests can freely adjust lighting even though they are in the bathroom. The reading light turn on when they are on the bed. They can even use the mobile app to turn on the air conditioner when they are going back to their room. If the hotel are offering this kind of smart room control into your hotel app, I believe your guests will find it very convenient, very fun, and very smart. As a result, they were so willing to download the app, to use the app because they need it to control the room. The stickiness of the mobile app will be dramatically increased. We believe the mobile app is another important engagement channel to your guests. Once you can boost up the stickiness of your mobile app, more direct marketing and promotion can deliver to your customer. By using the app as the hotel directory, your guests can get more information about your hotel easily. No need to frequently ask the front desk to read the thick hard copy menu. I'm a stupid guy. I always use a couple of hours in the hotel to learn how to use the room to have the facilities. More than that, you can use your mobile app as your key card to save time for the guests. After the online check-in, the room assigned by PMS, the PMS can send a message to your mobile app to issue a digital card. It's quick and fast. Apart from room service, room control, I think entertainment is also playing a very important part in our hotel, right? We like it very much. However, I think most of you have the experience. It's sometimes difficult, you know. If the hotel provides the video on demand, you have to choose to find the film for you using the remote control. Sometimes it's difficult. However, if your smart room system integrates with the video on demand service provider, you can select play your movie by a single touch and also trigger the theater scene so that the light will dim down, the television will turn on, the curtain close, source will change, and then start the movie, enjoy the movie. Adding room service to your app, your guests can easily make the request through the app and no need to call the front desk when they need just extra towel, toothbrush. I know we need in the app the front desk with the customer, but sometimes this kind of extra thing is just give them a lot of burden. You can also add a food page, just linking your F&B system, place the order, and let the customer enjoy the meal. Of course, direct marketing is the key features of your hotel mobile app. When you send message, promotion message, push news event, also deliver birthday gift coupon through the mobile channel. Even more, when the occupancy detection, you can tailor-make a promotion push when the guests are staying in room. For example, you can program a short marketing campaign, like to deliver a tea buffet promotion, 30% off for the guests who are returning to the room during 2 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. We believe systems work better together, not piece by piece. So the mobile app is not a standalone system. It works with, communicate with all the hotel system, like the PMS, housekeeping, ticketing, bookings, F&B, video on demand. So you really need a system integrator to build, to develop the mobile app, and also to build the smart room system. I think there's a lot of companies in the market can do a lot of things. Some company expert in development of app, some company expert in site work, engineering work. For example, like company A take care of room control, company B take care of mobile app development, company C take care of the other engineering site work. However, it is not easy to find a vendor to provide an end-to-end solutions. Lingwan Technology is a mix of engineering and technology company. We are installer. We are the system integrator. We are mobile app developer and maintenance service provider. Why Lingwan? We are reliable, professional, local support. With more than 200 staff in Hong Kong, more than 15 control force certified engineers, more than 80 field engines to support the maintenance work. We have an in-house app development team. There are no outsourcing team. The system we integrate with to control the room is control floor. A worldwide home and business automation system in hospitality. More than 11,000 rooms and over 10 countries are using their system. It is scalable and reliable. An example is the Villa in Las Vegas. 4,004 rooms is equipped with control floor system to control the TV, intelligent lighting, HVAC, curtain, and other control. I hope this reference can let you understand how reliable control floor system is. So find us in our booth. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time.
May I now invite Nick Jeffrey, Vice President, Sales and Account Management, Asia Pacific, Sabre Hospitality Solutions, to speak on future hospitality of merchandising.
Good afternoon, good morning, good day if anyone else is here from Australia. Thank you all for having me today. And thank you for the team from Hotelicon as well, particularly Richard, Patrick and Michelle for their efforts to continue investing in ongoing hotelier education. Whoops, jumped ahead. So for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting before, my name is Nick Jeffrey. As was just mentioned, I lead the sales and account management teams for Sabre Hospitality across Asia Pacific. So Sabre Hospitality Solutions is a technology provider for hotels. We provide distribution technology, marketing services for around about 45,000 hotels presently around the world. And in Hong Kong, I guess we have the privilege of serving brands like Hotelicon, for example, Shangri-La, Mandarin Oriental, Peninsula, Langham, Wharf Hotels, just to name a few. The thrust of the discussion today I'll be talking about comes from a deck that or a white paper thought leadership piece we did together with one of our partners, Skift, around about a month and a half ago. For those of you who haven't who haven't actually read the document, you can download it from our website, where you'll find a number of other thought leadership pieces from collaborations we've done with partners such as Focusrite, Trend Watching, or Forrester's Research in the US. So the main message from the thought leadership piece that we've put together with Skift is a thought that we've had for some time now, which is that for hoteliers to be successful as we move into 2020 and beyond, we're going to look further afield beyond hotels and even beyond travel to start to learn and leverage the innovations that are being done by some of the online retailers outside of our industry. Consumer expectations are continuing to grow as we speak at the moment, and they're being driven by organisations or companies outside of hospitality. So a few examples are people like Amazon, for example, people like Netflix, people like Starbucks, who are teaching consumers that they can recognise their requirements and anticipate them in advance. And consumers are taking those same lofty expectations and expecting that hoteliers to be able to respond in a similar way. So the actual insights deck that we had put together contains about 8 insights. You'll be grateful to know I'm only covering 3 of those, and the 3 insights that I'm covering are listed on the screen now. So it's the concept around travellers being more receptive to buying products and services from hotels beyond just a bed. The fact that hoteliers themselves are uniquely positioned to become the gatekeepers for the overall experience at a destination. And the last piece there is the demand for additional personalised experiences from brands, and we'll talk about some of the examples that we've developed as well. So for each of those 3 trends that I'm referencing, I'll also blend in some of the investments that we're making in our technology and platforms to position our hotel partners to succeed as we move into 2020 and beyond. So the first concept there is travellers, again, are more receptive to buying services from hotels beyond just bedrooms. So I think for a period of time now, hoteliers and marketers in particular have been laser focused on selling beds and bedrooms. That's been our primary focus. That's all well and good, but the reality is that there are plenty of other opportunities for hotels to monetize additional services on property, both to audience who are staying within the hotel, as well as audiences who come from outside the hotel. They may be, in some instances, they may be people from the local proximity, or they may be people staying at nearby hotels as well. So consumers in general have an appetite and a willingness to buy from hotels beyond just bedrooms. What we're looking to embark upon, or the journey that we've started, is the concept of, I guess, deconstructing the current booking engine. And the concept behind that basically is our intention over the course of the next 12 to 18 months is to turn the booking engine from its present function, which is primarily around selling beds and selling rooms, to actually becoming an anything store, if you like, for hotels. So the concept there is that no longer does a bedroom need to be part of the booking engine acquisition. It could be selling additional services on site, it could be selling merchandise from within the rooms, or additionally it could be selling peripheral products and services from nearby businesses. If we think of the different categories that we intend to enable hotels to monetize through the booking engine, they fall into the following categories. We'll look at those in a little bit more detail. So living spaces, in our new definition, is essentially the guest rooms or the suites. However, we're enabling with the new data layer that we're introducing, we're enabling living spaces or bedrooms, if you like, to be sold in different ways than they have been done previously. The first, I'll give you a couple of examples of how we intend to make that come true. The first is an example of time horizon. So people typically, when they're sold, or hotels typically when they're sold bedrooms, are sold them in an overnight fashion. What we're enabling through our next generation retailing capability is for hotels to define their own time horizons. So if a hotel wanted to sell, for example, a hotel room by the hour, that would now be possible through the booking engine. If you think about concepts of airport hotels, for example, oftentimes they want their time horizon to be, for example, an eight-hour period, so they can sell that room 3 times over a daily period. So again, we're going to enable hotels to have unlimited flexibility when it comes to time horizons and the sale of rooms online. A second example that we're introducing as part of this is the concept that if a hotel has a twin-bedded room, for example, a room with 2 beds, we're giving them the ability to sell that twin-bedded room to 2 completely different customers over overlapping dates. Now, it may seem a little bit unusual, but there are already a number of brands in Europe in particular that already practice this model. So if you think of Accor through Joe & Joe, if you think of a brand called Meininger, which is in Europe as well, also moving to the US shortly, that's part of their business model. They're introducing the concept of enabling completely different customers to share the same room. Working spaces, so we have in the past built platforms, if you like, that enable hotels to monetize and sell meeting rooms, business center rooms, co-working spaces, but it's always been a separate technology, a separate booking path. So what we're enabling through our next generation retailing is the concept that if somebody wants to use a meeting room at the hotel, no longer do they need to engage on the phone, engage via fax with the conference organisers. They can now handle that acquisition fully online through the hotel booking engine. Similar if you had somebody who was staying at the hotel and wanted to blend a combination of accommodation with meeting space as well, once again, that'll be available through the booking engine as well. I'll touch on experiences and merchandising shortly. The other piece I guess I wanted to dwell on briefly was this concept of policies or even customer requests and how you can monetize those as well. So I think many hotels are used to the concept of requests for early check-in, requests for late check-out. Again, the concept there is we want to enable those to be add-ons, if you like, to the customer booking experience so that your hotel customers can, through the booking engine, actually acquire those pieces as part of their overall stay experience. Now, enabling hotels to sell additional products and services through the booking engine is certainly one focus that we have at the moment. Another focus that you see on screen here is work that we're doing with partners such as Facebook, whereby we're enabling, you can see an example there with Instagram, we're enabling a concept called shoppable stories for hotels to be able to link pricing as well as links back to the booking engine to enable you to sell and monetize additional merchandise from within the rooms or from within the hotels as part of posts done by influencers, for example. So again, it's not just the ability to sell the rooms, we're also looking at ways to enhance awareness of some of the products and services that you have on site. So the second concept we wanted to touch on was the concept that hotels are uniquely positioned to become the gatekeepers for the overall hotel experience. So there's been a lot of press in media recently around some of the bigger online players and their thirst or their hunger, if you like, for additional experience or tours and attractions content. If you think of people like Expedia, people like Booking.com, and even some of the meta-search players, and I guess TripAdvisor in particular comes to mind, they are very aggressively investing in building out their sites with additional experience content, additional tours and attractions capabilities as well. Some of the biggest investments in tourism recently, I guess, have come by one of the groups in Japan called SoftBank, where they've invested $750 million in platforms such as Klook or Get Your Guide. So again, it's a space that's getting a lot of attention at the moment. The reality is we live in an experience economy at the moment. You would have all heard that phrase, and that's certainly the case from a hospitality perspective. So what we're going to enable again as part of the next generation retailing capability through a number of open APIs that we've developed is we're going to enable experience providers or tour and attraction providers to be plugged into the hotel booking engine. And this serves a couple of purposes. So firstly, it enables you as hotels to essentially monetize some of these tours and attractions. But secondly, and just as importantly, it enables you to serve the customer who's looking for more than just a hotel bed when they stay at your property. It's enabling you to serve them from an experience perspective to increase that level of engagement in the customer experience. Now, one of the examples you see on screen there is one of our customers in Rwanda who works closely with a tour operator who provides tours for guerrilla tours. Again, they had a couple of requirements. Certainly, they wanted to be able to sell and monetize the guerrilla tours through the booking engine. But they also had a secondary requirement, and that is they wanted to be able to sell adjacent or complementary products and services to those tours, even though they're not related to the hotel, through the booking engine as well. And this is, I guess, another lesson that we've learned from online retailers. It's the concept of leveraging machine learning and in the form of a recommendation engine, so that we can then determine from all of the data that we process through the booking engine what are the most likely products and services that can be recommended in conjunction with a purchase that's being made through the booking engine. If we had any doubt, or if we wanted to see some evidence of the value of a recommendation engine as part of a booking experience, we only need to look at Amazon. So Amazon presently indicate that they earn around about 37% of their overall revenues, driven by the sophistication of their advanced machine learning recommendation engine. So it's a valuable asset. So the third piece I wanted to touch on was the concept that guests want more personalised experiences, and I think a couple of the talks earlier today have referenced consumers' desire for personalised experiences as well. So when we talk about personalised experiences, there are a couple of elements to this. One of them is, again, the fact that customers demand to be recognised, and part of that recognition, they demand to be served with relevant products and services that will meet their requirements. The second piece of it is the customers demand to be able to self-curate, if you like, their own experience as well. So they want the ability to be able to pick and choose which components of their experience are important to them, and they're happy to pay a premium for those, which is really important. So personalisation, just to take a step back, is essentially modifying or refining a product and service to make it more relevant for a particular customer. And there's been a lot written about that, I guess, over the course of the last few years. If we think about one of our other travel industries that's done this particularly well, one that comes to mind, I think, is probably airlines. So our brothers and sisters in the airline space have done exceptionally well in terms of deconstructing the acquisition of an air ticket and enabling consumers to self-curate and personalise their trip. So give you an example. So presently in the world, there are around about 300 commercial airlines operating. Those 300 commercial airlines at the end of 2019 are expected to exceed $100 billion in terms of ancillary revenues. And so the way they've done that is, if you think back to buying an airline ticket maybe 15 years ago, in those days you bought an airline ticket and that was the end of the transaction. You got a ticket, you got to the airport, you were allocated a seat. If you think about the way that's changed over the course of the last 10 to 15 years, so now when you buy a ticket, you have the ability to potentially pay for a lounge membership, so you can relax in the lounge before your flight. You have the ability to pay for the ability to allocate your own seat, so you're not stuck in the dreaded middle seat. You have the ability to pay for baggage, or even to pay for excess baggage if you so require. Many airlines offer the ability to pay for advanced boarding, so you can make sure that when you get on, you've got overhead space to store your baggage. Similarly, with regards to being on the flight itself, you have the ability to pay for food and beverage with some airlines. You have the ability to pay for entertainment with some airlines as well. So again, airlines have done a great job of enabling consumers to self-serve, to curate their own stay or create their own trip, and more importantly, pay for the elements of the trip that are most important to them. And we intend to provide that same capability to hotels as well. So if you look at the example of the room on screen there, our intention is, certainly a consumer, if they were booking that room, they could pay, I think it's €95 for a standard room if they want. But what we want them to be able to do is to actually customise or curate their stay and pay for additional components which are important to them. So the concept there might be, if I'm travelling to a location for the first time and I want to see more of the city, maybe I pay a premium for a higher floor. If I'm after a particular vantage point from the building, if I'm wanting to look over the pool versus looking at the building next door, again, I can pay a premium for that. If I want, for example, slightly different physical assets, maybe I want a balcony on the room, maybe I want a spa in the bathroom instead of a separate shower, again, I have the ability to pay a premium for that. So we're enabling consumers to self-serve, we're enabling to curate their stay, and to pay a premium for the products and services that deliver more value to them personally. So we've, over the course of the last sort of 5 years or so, we've done a number of other developments in personalisation. I thought I'd give you thought I'd finish up with a few examples of some of those personalisation innovations, if you like. So the first one there was work that we did on a resort in the US, in Miami, called the Fontainebleau Resort. In the case of the Fontainebleau, we developed both their websites as well as their booking technology as well. But because we developed the websites, it gave us the ability to harness all of the data that comes through the browsing information for consumers on the website, and to leverage that information to refine the results that we served in the booking engine to enhance the customer's experience. So the value for the hotel here is, if somebody's on the website and they're browsing the suites, last thing you as a hotelier want to see happen is you want to see them go to the booking engine to be served a lead-in room type and to downsell themselves to an inferior room type, where essentially you're leaving money on the table. So that tie-up, if you like, that link between the hotel website and the booking engine enabled us to drive increase in average rate for the Fontainebleau. Not all of our hotel customers, I mentioned we had 45,000, we do websites for. So in cases where we don't do the website, we needed to pivot. We needed to take a different approach to personalisation. So what we did in this instance here is we actually built into the booking engine smarts within the booking widget that enable us to take the information provided by the booking widget and to use that to inform allocation of a persona for the consumers who are going through the booking engine. So an example on screen is we have somebody goes to a booking engine, to a booking widget, they type in, we're travelling with 2 adults, 2 children, we know they're a family. So with that information, with that assignment of a family persona, we can start modifying the content we serve to the customers through the booking engine to improve their experience. So it could be, for example, the room types. Rather than serving them a room with 1 bed, maybe we serve them a room with multiple beds, which are better placed to serve the family. And the same applies for rates, the same applies for dynamic packages as well. So if somebody's travelling with 2 kids, maybe a dynamic package add-on might be, for example, access to the kids club. It might be babysitting, for example, which might be more relevant to that consumer as compared to something that a business traveller might want, which might be a limousine transfer to and from the airport. There's a quick example of some of the capabilities in our personalisation rules engine. And the last example I wanted to talk about relates to remarketing and retargeting. So customers presently typically remarket or retarget customers or consumers who leave their booking engine. They do it with a generic marketing banner. What we've enabled through the application of advanced e-commerce analytics on our booking engine is we've enabled our marketing team to serve back more relevant advertising, if you like, or marketing to a consumer when they leave the booking engine. So an example might be if somebody made a search for your hotel for a 5-day stay and they left the booking engine, then rather than serving them a generic hotel ad, we might serve them an ad which is targeted around a long stay, for example. Now, that ability to personalise the marketing and send back more relevant information has enabled us to drive significantly higher return on ad spend as a result of the marketing efforts, which obviously improves the revenue outcomes for our hotels. So that was the majority of what I wanted to cover today, so thank you very much for your time on that. The 3 key points I just wanted to reiterate that we talked about today are, firstly, the importance of partnering with a partner who can enable you to sell more than just hotel rooms through your online booking engine. Secondly, the importance of experiences to consumers, and thus the importance of experiences to hotels as well. You need to find a way to tie yourself into experiences, tour and attraction providers to improve your relevance to consumers online. And the third piece is the importance of personalisation. So again, consumers demand to be recognised, and you need to find a way to ensure that through your interactions online, you have the ability to recognise them and drive that additional level of engagement. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey, for the presentation. Now may I please invite Crystal Lee from Google, Travel Industry Manager, to talk about Google's approach to travel.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm aware I'm just between you and lunch, so it's a little bit challenging. Do everyone want to do some stretching? Stretch a little bit, yeah? Just stretch your arms and stuff like that, yeah? So Nick just looked fantastic standing behind the podium. I couldn't do that. That's why I need a mic here. So bear with me for the next 30 to 35 minutes. I promise I'll keep my session short and fast. So I'm Crystal and from Google Hong Kong, and I actually lead the travel business for Asia Pacific. First of all, I want to thank the Hotel Icon for having me here today. And you should know, actually at Google, we often talk about tech a lot. I mean, really a lot. But I think today I'll try a different approach. I'll focus on the travelers. So I was in the UK for like an executive leadership program last month. And just among my peer groups, like one of them happened to be like the GM of the tourism board for Malaysia. And we had a chat. We were like, okay, so he asked me like, Crystal, you're from Google. So tell me like, what are the cool in-room technology that we should put in our hotels in Malaysia? So I asked him, so if you were the travelers, actually what do you want to see? So that's actually my answer to him. So I think today I'll actually take you through a journey and try to understand a little bit more about like the travelers' behavior, what the expectations, and actually like we as hoteliers or as travel brands, what we can do to actually meet the expectations. So last year we launched a white paper in Google called the Smarter Digital City 2.0. And this year we're actually just about to launch the 3.0, so stay tuned for that. Together with Ipsos in that research, we actually did that with over 2,000 Hong Kong people, and we tried to understand like what are the expectations towards digital transformation, and also like what are the opportunities for growth in Hong Kong. So in that research, it's amazing to see like 98% of Hong Kong travelers actually do their researches online before a trip. That sounds amazing, right? And 66% of them actually uses the smartphones for research. But that being said, our research also found that 3 out of every 4 Hong Kong residents feel the local travel and tourism is not digitizing its services enough. So that's interesting, right? Because the demand is there. There's a demand, but we're just not digitizing services enough. And we all know like there is very strong competition globally from other like global travel providers as well. And like the Hong Kong travelers are actually willing to switch if the local providers like us cannot meet expectations. So with that context in mind, I think today I want to share 3 things with you. So first, how travelers are now becoming more digitally empowered than before. And with all this higher empowerment, so basically, what are the high expectations from these travelers? And finally, we as like the hoteliers or travel brands, what we can do to meet the expectations across all stages of travel. So in Asia Pacific, I guess probably some of you might know that Asia Pacific is actually the global growth engine for travel. So if we look across all the regions in the world, let's say compare with US and Europe, Asia Pacific is actually growing twice as fast as the other regions. And in Google, we actually expect to see this accelerate in the next 5 years. And APAC will be becoming the largest travel region in the world. So, so now you may be just thinking like, what is actually driving that growth, right? So the thing is that when we look at APAC, the APAC travelers spend almost 4 hours a day online, which is actually the highest of any region in this world. And 40% of them actually uses their smartphones for travel researches. So I think the increasing access of smartphones actually fundamentally changes how people actually behave and what they expect. So I would say we all love our devices. Like who in the room like doesn't like your devices, your small mobile devices? I think some of you might actually be like tapping your phones now, but I think that's not the point. We love our devices, but that's not the reason behind the growth. The reason behind the growth is actually what we really love is actually the power the devices give us. It's the power for us to like get things almost like instantly. We could just get anything like out of your smartphones any second you want it. It's almost like a seamless and effortless experience. So with that in mind, like now we understand like there's so much changes in APAC. It's growing really fast. So all this has actually fundamentally changes the behavior of the travelers. So now if you ask me like what are the behaviors of travelers, I will try to summarize that into 3 points. So they're getting more and more curious, they're extremely impatient, and they're incredibly demanding. So that's actually what we're seeing as the travelers' behaviors these days. So why we know the travelers are curious? So now you're just thinking like, oh, Google say they're curious, so they're curious. So that's not the case. Because when we look at like lots of Google internal data, what we actually see is that there's actually exponential growth across all the Google platforms. From YouTube to like Google Maps to Google.com, we actually have seen an exponential growth of travel-related queries. So for example, like top vacation destinations, over the past 4 years, we have seen like a significant growth on YouTube and on Google.com. People are searching for flights. On Google Maps, people are just searching more and more for hotels. So people are getting more and more curious. They're looking for more information. I just want to diverge a little bit to a more personal example. So I was actually planning a trip to Cebu. And I started my search on Google.com. I was looking for like the top resorts in Cebu, but I didn't end there. I promise I didn't end there. And I went to YouTube. I searched for like lots of destination contents because I want to find out like what are the cool places that I should visit in Cebu. And then I went to Google Maps because I want to understand what are the nice restaurants and bars near where I stay. But my journey still didn't stop there. I went to Instagram as well to check out the food options. And yes, like people from Google do use Instagram as well. So I also went to TripAdvisor and other review sites to look for different reviews and stuff like that. And in the end, I actually booked direct with the resorts that I like. I would say I'm actually quite decisive already because when we look at data, we usually see like people actually looking for more touch points, definitely beyond this 6. It could be like over 50 touch points. So we're all quite curious. And the other thing that we notice is that we're incredibly impatient as travelers as well. So what we see in the travel searches queries is that the terms around today and open now has increased by 2.3 times over the past few years. So what it tells us is that people actually just have no patience at all. I think like some of the GMs in the room today might don't like me describing the consumers or guests as impatient because it sounds a bit negative. You might try to rephrase as like, yeah, they look for, our customers need high efficiency, yeah? So they almost need things like immediately. And they're looking for like, let's say restaurants open now, like attractions to open today, or like flight from Hong Kong to Cebu today. So they're actually looking for things like immediately. And the third thing is that they're incredibly demanding. So they actually expect to see like personalized content in the exact moment that they want it. I think that's the point that Nick just touched on earlier as well. So people are just searching more and more for like around me in Asia Pacific. So now we kind of understand how the travelers behave. So because they're all digitally empowered, but with such empowerment, so what are the expectations on like travel brands like us? So expect speed. I think probably like many of you might have heard from like your teams and other travel conferences that travelers now actually expect speed. But just think about that in our room here today. Half of us actually would abandon a mobile site if your mobile site takes more than 3 seconds to load. Just 3 seconds, half of the room would just abandon the mobile site. So also imagine like if your site takes 1 second longer to load, you lose about like 20% of your conversions. I would say that's almost unforgiving to like have such a user experience for customers because I used to work in travel and hospitality before I joined Google for around 7 years. We all work so hard to drive conversions, driving book direct and so on. It's just unforgiving to have such an experience and you just lose your customers like that. So I would really encourage everyone to start looking at like your mobile sites and take ownership of that. And we also tested over 1 million websites over the world, like from Fortune 1000 companies to SMB companies. The thing is that on average, we found out the average loading speed is 22 seconds. So they expect speed, and they also expect personalization, which is a point that like the previous presenters also shared as well. So our research actually found that 36% of travelers, they're actually willing to pay more if you give them personalized experience. And 69% of travelers actually have greater loyalty to your brand if you give them the personalized information that they need. And also they expect seamless experience. So I just talked about like 69% of them actually abandon a site if it takes too many steps to purchase. So the key takeaway here is that, of course, simplify your site as fast as you can, because the more steps it takes them to convert, the less likely they will choose your brand. And we all know like the travelers also cross on multiple devices, multiple platforms, and now they're actually on multiple profiles as well. Think about like maybe some of you have multiple Facebook profiles, email accounts, I don't know, but they're on multiple profiles, definitely. So 63% of mobile users are cross-device users. So that doesn't mean they're willing to start the search from scratch every time. Like if they change from desktop and mobile, it doesn't really mean they're happy if you like give them a new experience every time. Because, I mean, they're just impatient and they just want you to remember them every time when they go back to like another devices to do the same search again. So all in all, I would say in Google, because we recognize the changes in the traveler's behavior. So what we did is that we're striving to build travel products that resonates with the travelers and also align with the changes in the behavior. So let's say across the 4 stages of travel, like at the dreaming stage, people could go to like google.com/travel to find out more about the destinations that they want to explore. And at the planning stages, they could go to the Google map and then try to find out more about the destinations or the resorts or hotels. And then when they're ready to book, they will most likely go to Google Hotel Ads or like Google Flights to make a booking. And finally, when they're in destination, so they want to get the most out of the trip. So that's why they would be probably using like, we're seeing increasing trend for people leveraging Google Assistant or Google Maps to help them get the most out of the trip. So now we kind of understand the traveler's behavior, the traveler's expectations. So now I think it's time for us to think about what all this means to all of us here in the room today. So I think the simple answer to that is that we have to assist them. We have to assist your travelers across any touch points that they're on. So always provide excellent customer service, which is always on for your customers. And also make sure you provide a seamless mobile experience for them as well. Of course, it's even better if you have integrated mobile payment options for your travelers. So let's say at the dreaming stage, you can start thinking about like providing more comprehensive and also relevant content for your consumers, and also give them suggestions really based on their personal needs. When they're planning, when they're at the planning stage, so personalization is the key to win. So think about like personalizing your offers, your packages, and also remember where they left off when they were first with you. So let's say like what date range that they last searched, what the packages that they like, what the room types that they search. Remember those and serve them the same thing when they come back to you. And when they're ready to book, I saw like some of the more successful travel brands in the industry is that they're actually enabled one-click booking. That saves a lot of time. Just like imagine all your details have already been auto-populated in your booking engine, and just one click, people could just book like right away. And also think about like integrated payment methods like Google Pay or other payment options that could resonate well with your customers. So finally, think about the experience. When they're in destination to experience your hotels or like your airlines or your brands, help them to consolidate the information as best as you can. So for example, help them to consolidate information about the attractions like within, let's say, 10 kilometers from your hotels, transportations, what are the options to like have fun, and so on. And make sure you're always present. So I hope all these tips are helpful for you to start thinking about like how to expect and anticipate your travelers' behavior and expectations. And I really look forward to hear more success stories from your brands on like how you actually build experiences, the smart hotel experiences, incorporating all these elements as well. So thank you.